Yes, sir.
Back with it.
Once again, it is on. Welcome to episode number 6 of
See?
What happened was
oh, that's
I'm
great.
Dre, that's Rashad, and we're giving it to you raw and uncut.
And uncut. That's right.
Today's episode, we are going to discuss Relationship Chronicles. Every young person, man or woman, is going to get to a point to where they are having feelings for the opposite sex or maybe even the same. You know how things are. It's 2022. I mean, just keep it real.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is from that first relationship up to now, you develop habits and you get to a point where you decide what you want and don't want based on those relationships. Now, it might be that one person if you're lucky, but for some of us, it's been a lot of one persons. You know, a lot of one persons.
A lot of one persons. I like that.
It just is what it is. And you know, you have some successes, but then you got your failures too. But as the saying goes, got to break a lot of eggs to make that omelet. And
that's right.
Hey, by the time you get to the omelet, hopefully it tastes good.
Yeah. Sometimes that omelet tasting good before it's done. Then once the omelet is done, it's like,
yeah.
Nah, Shoot. Yeah, so, man.
I am going to go to 1991. And I was about 15 at that time. And that's when I had my first girlfriend.
Mm.
And of course, it was just like a puppy love type thing. Wasn't, really all that serious. But I mean, it did end up being an on and off thing that went on for about a good 6 years. Yeah. And that kind of culminated in a kind of flim flam type deal because coming back from the Navy, this was about 1997. I was just getting out of boot camp, actually out of my medical training, and I came home to await my orders to go to Camp Lejeune. And, we did our thing or whatever. Next thing you know, I call home and she says that she's pregnant. So you can imagine my surprise when I'm just like, whoa, okay. This ain't good. And I told Mom. Of course, she was not happy about that at all. And Grandma Mary definitely was not happy about that at all. As a matter of fact, I was told that if I was home during that time, because at this point I was in Camp Lejeune when I found out, North Carolina. Yeah, she would have killed me. She
Dang.
was that pissed. She was that pissed. But
Man.
just to make a long story short, when it came time to discuss arrangements as far as the kid goes and all that kind of stuff, I just so happened that I came across a sonogram that had been taken, and the sonogram was off by a lot. So of course we're doing some detective work and doing my dates and yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And I'm like, yeah. Got my toes out. Like, nah, 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 nah,
Nah,
nah,
just
this
going
ain't
at
it.
yeah, that
This ain't
damn
right.
okay.
So yeah. So I called her out on it and she was like, well, your people didn't like me from the get-go and blah, 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 blah. Yada yada. So when the baby was born, it wasn't mine.
Mm.
So that was one bullet that I was so glad that I dodged.
Man.
Because man, when I tell you that one was crazy, that one was crazy. Never again. It was just one of them things that just taught me to definitely make sure that umbrellas are handy when it rains. You feel me?
Nah.
Kobe.
Yeah, man. Oh boy. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's a story for you. I don't know if I remember that one. Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
Yeah.
I know for me, it just had. I mean, there's been like, of course, those crushes in Dago, like when I was younger, and moving around. But it really didn't start for me until I hit high school. I would say they got some was like more freedom or whatever, because of course, fourth grade, had girlfriend then or whatever, but um, but yeah, I would just say more so high school and then Job Corps. You know, there's that Job Corps again, and every everybody knows about Job Corps. You ask anybody that went to Job Corps when I did, you all knew what behind medical was. That
Wow.
yeah,
Behind medical.
yeah, behind the medical building. Um, but for me, it wasn't really a heartbreak or anything like that because it was just in Job Corps just being wild and like I'm really open with my story. Like when I got caught up, you know what I'm saying, and that's when at 19, you know, the person I was messing with, it came out. Oh, well, oh, you're gonna be a daddy. It's like what, you know what I'm saying, and I think for me, that's when my world just came to a pause. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, dang, how can I get caught up like that? You know what I'm talking about? And I gotta throw this into it. This is why, like, biblically speaking, when it tells us, no sex before marriage. You know what I'm saying? That's why.
Yep.
Because you end up in situations like I had. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Uh child that's coming, baby mama that's loony, and then everybody would say, "Well, if you knew that in the beginning, didn't know that in the beginning." Because first of all, this was nobody I liked. I was 19, I was young, and there was a few people in Job Corps. Just keep it real, 100. Keep it a buck.
Yep.
That was not my only fling, but when this came about, it was like, then I just started hearing of all the crappy things this person went through and all the bags this person had. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, I wish I would have known this person was that batty, you know, because more stories started coming out about, I guess the brother had did some things to her which messed her up, and then she actually was pregnant before, and they forced her to have an abortion.
Mm,
So this was kind of like her, you know, redemption, you
right.
know. And I went through a lot of dark days, man. I went through a lot of dark days. We talking about relationship chronicles. I can write a whole book, TV series, and a movie and a video game about this experience. You know
Man.
what I'm saying? But yeah, that was like the first and the last time, you know, that I would ever go that route, you know. Yeah, that that was it, it's- breaking that news, especially to mom. Like, I know she really was upset. She was really, really upset. She told me something is really, really off with that girl. And one thing about her, she's never been wrong about
Mhm.
anybody. She's never been,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a little bit into mine, And I've often said, hey, if I can go back in time and meet that 19-year-old me, and I'd just be like,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? Just
Yep.
like smooth knock myself out and be like, I am from your future. You don't want to go this route. What you
Yeah.
want to do is throw that chick in the trash can and keep moving on,
Yeah.
because what's to come, you really don't want.
Right.
And then for everybody to say, oh, well, the child is here. Da, da, da. You don't know the drama that came. You have no idea, which is
Mhm.
why it's like you have jail time, baby mama drama, back and forth, the fights with the family, all that unnecessary stuff that I could have avoided if I just would have not went that route.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just ugh. And it was one thing, like, you try to make it work, but it just wouldn't, because
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't meant, was not supposed to be at all,
Yep.
you know. So yeah, yeah. Damn job core.
Yeah, I can understand it. I think for me, my biggest um crush, probably my first love, true first love, would have to be when I was 16 years old. And I met this young lady, dark skin, long hair, Bush Gardens, back in the
Mm.
Doodoo Browns.
Back
Well,
in the doodle
I would
browns.
say actually around this point, it wasn't Doodoo Browns anymore. It was like, we were in the green. It was like brown, green jungle type tops or whatever. And I was cleaning in the theater, and I saw her doing the popcorn machine or whatever she was setting up, for the next show. And I swear she was like the prettiest thing I'd ever seen in my entire life at that point. And trying to find the words to say to her, whatever. And I'm kind of sweeping, trying to get next to her, whatever the case. And she finally, looks over at me, and I look at her, and she's like, "You know how to get this popcorn machine to work?" And I'm like, "I
Talk
don't
about an
know."
icebreaker.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know, but we'll find out together.
Yeah.
So we ended up talking and everything like that. Next thing you know, we're on the phone and we start dating and stuff, but it didn't last that long because I didn't have a car. We were at different schools and stuff like that. So we did go to each other's prom or each other's homecoming, rather. I went to prom with somebody else. So this is like 12th grade. But that turned into like 15 years of,
Roller
just
coaster.
one of them things of as bad as I wanted her, she didn't want me up until I was with somebody else. Then she wanted me. And then I broke up with whoever I was with to get with her. But then she was like, oh, I just want to be friends and all that kind of stuff. Just so wishy washy, aloof, and all that, man. And I think sometimes that she was like the catalyst for me being the way that I was
Hmm.
all those years, man. Is just trying to find that person who fit the mold. But thing about it is when you get older, of course, then you find out, it's like I said before, as you get older, you find out what you want and what you don't, and what you're gonna tolerate and what you won't. And so I ended up breaking a whole bunch of eggs. And the relationships that I had been in, and I would get tired and say, you know what, let me move on over here and see what this person has got and whatnot. And it's just a continuous cycle.
Yeah.
I have been engaged 3 times. First engagement, I was in the Navy, and she didn't want to do that life. So we ended up breaking up. Um, that was about 1999.
Mm.
Second time was in 2010 when I thought that this person was going to be it. And we clashed as far as living arrangements, as far as church went at the time. And I was on the ministerial staff and all that, and I was like trying to get into, well, no, I hadn't made it yet, but I was trying to get into the ministry, and she wasn't having any of that at that time. So we ended up breaking up, and it was a mutual thing.
Wow.
This was, yeah, 2010. And this is another thing, like I said, in one of my daily dimes, you have to you got to be able to heal before you move on. And I didn't heal. And so not long after I split off from the second engagement, I got to the third one, and that was like 3 months later. And you know how that went.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, yeah. So the whole thing of it was, Ma used to always say, "Oh, you need to have somebody with this. You need to do that. You don't need to be with this person because blah 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 blah." And I just got tired of it. And I say, you know what? I'm gonna get with her anyways.
Mm.
I had just got ordained. I was hooked on a feeling and everything like that. Next thing you know, I'm asking this woman out, and we end up getting married 3 months later against advice. I got tired of mom telling me who I should and should not be with. So yeah, it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna get with her anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So long story short, ended up in a almost 7 year relationship, which was pretty much like 6 years and 11 months too long.
I-
But you know how that stuff is when you want to get out and everything, but people try to keep you together,
yeah, yeah.
and you go before the pastor, you go before other married couples, try to do the accountability thing and counseling and all that kind of stuff. But it was just trying to put a band-aid where stitches should have been.
Yeah, stitches and staples,
Yes.
and
Yes.
touch from the Lord.
Yes.
You know
All
what I'm
all
saying?
of that. And it ended up, with me being very bitter, very resentful. I just didn't care about too much. And then, like, on top of that, she already had, two kids from previous relationships. So, like, that was another thing. And it was a hard lesson. And it got to the point to where, I mean, I admit it, like, towards the end, I just didn't care and I became an infidel. I had a relationship with somebody for 1 full year before I got divorced. And I was just basically trying to buy time until it was time for me to get out of there. And I knew I was
Yeah,
going to leave. It was just a matter of when, and trying to make circumstances better for myself before the exit. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So that was it. I mean, we're all guilty of something. No relationship is perfect. Nobody is perfect, period. Only a relationship in which God is the center of it all is going to be able to be sustained. Because if you're doing it on your own, good luck with that.
yeah.
Because it ain't gonna happen.
I mean, I even like to add a relationship that God has put together, you know. And a lot of people get that messed up. Like, just because you are with a person, that does not mean that God put you two together.
Right.
Okay. Um, I understand, like, even in marriage, a lot of people, well, God put this together. No, he didn't. It's a lot of marriages out there that God did not put together. You
Right.
wanted to marry that person. Okay.
Right.
That's you. That was not God. Because I'm pretty sure there was a lot of, like you said, there was a lot of counsel and things like that. It's like God saying, hey, don't do it. It was
Yep.
like the same thing with, like, me with myself when I found out, I was having a son, and everybody's like, oh, you gotta get married and all this type of stuff. And I was starting to believe that, but it took the voice of, you know, that famous philosopher that I call mother, who said, who was like, no, it ain't finna happen. Wah, 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 wah. I mean, totally against it, you know. And I'm glad that the Lord had her step in, because that was just a disaster. Even got to the point to when we moved in together, shacking up, disaster.
Yeah.
It was just like, I mean, to the point to where I know the pastor had came to me and was like, "You need to get out of that situation." You know what I'm saying? And yeah, ugh, it was just terrible. It was really terrible, and it was kind of ironic because the one I was dating in high school, we were still talking, and it was so funny because she didn't care until she found out this girl was pregnant.
Mm.
Then all of a sudden it was like, forget that. But there was, at the time I was working at USD in San Diego. I was cooking. And that's when I had met, and like I said, the finest thing on feet.
I ain't heard that before.
Yeah, oh, man, it was, boy. I tell you, it was like one of them things to where I'm working at this college, and yeah, this young lady, she was, yeah, she was all that. I mean, by everything, and I just like, hmm, let's see what that's about. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, that was like, I think one of the first times that I was like, this is gonna work right here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, before that, yo, I'm telling y'all, listen to the voice of the Lord, listen to counsel. There are people that we would have interest in, or we may date, or whatever the case may be. And there will always be that voice that will say, there's something wrong with that person. Something's not right.
Yep.
Do more research.
Yep.
Nowadays, it's like you meet this person, meet that person, and then boom, oh, it's love and that. No, it is not. I always like to say, you always meet the person's representative.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is.
Meet the person's representative. And it takes about 6 months, I would say, for people to really start showing who they really are. So you want to see, you want to give it time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Stop rushing into bed with people. Let's just put it
Right.
out there. Stop doing
Right.
it.
Right.
Guilty. My younger days, stop doing it. You know, really get to know that person. I guarantee you, you're gonna run into something that you don't like. And
Yep.
you'd rather find it out now before it's too late.
Right.
Like I did.
And especially before you say I do.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm telling you, man, it's just an awful thing to, be in a marriage and you're miserable. You know what I mean? And I say, like, again, for mine, we're on good terms. We're cordial these days, and the best thing to ever come out of it was my daughter, and I would not trade her for the world. I love that little girl to death. So it was a mess, but it was a mess that God did bless. You know, um, I will say that right there.
Yes,
But
sir.
but yeah, man, relationships are hard. They are definitely work, especially in a marriage. It is work. And if you two are not on the same page, it's just not going to work at all. It's going to be hard. And even not even just marriage, but in the dating process, you
Hmm.
definitely need to take your time and get to know that person
Yeah.
before, like Rashad said, before you're jumping into bed, before you're saying, "Oh, I'm in love," and all that kind of stuff, because we end up seeing the outside of the person, especially like from the male perspective. And we're looking at a woman and we're like, "Oh, she's fine. She is a knockout," and all this kind of stuff. And she got this and that going on. And but here's the thing about that: what else is there to her? What does she do? Does she work? Does she take care of her kids? How many kids does she have? How many baby daddies does she have? Do you know about her credit history? Do you know about her finances? Can she balance a checkbook? Is there the debt, the debt situation? What you gonna end up being responsible for? Now, a man might step in and say, "Oh yeah, I take care of this, that, and the third." If you got it like that, hey, by all means,
Yeah.
you go right ahead. But if you know you're the type of guy who is frugal, who is trying to watch his pennies and stuff like that, and you're looking at this woman who is rocking like a Gucci bag or Prada or whatever the case may be, and she working at Burger King, mm, you might wanna you might wanna check that.
Yeah,
You might wanna see
you
what's really going on. You
you
know what I'm
might
saying?
want to. Yeah. That was for me back then, it was just like the same thing. It's just like what they call a champagne taste with a beer budget.
There you
You know what
go.
I'm saying? But this person, it wasn't even a beer budget. It's what we call in the hood the night train and the Thunderbird budget. You know, that
Wow.
man, it was just one of those things to where I would just never forget. It's like how stupid. Like you got this kid and you got, this apartment. Burger King and UPS is what I'm working. You have no job, but you want to go out to eat? What?
Right.
Like, that was just one of those things that I really wish I would have ran away from. But I remember all of that changing when, you know, since we don't mention names, but there, somebody that really taught me the game, that taught me how to save money and taught me culture and taught me a lot of things like that. And there was a time, I'll share this story. There was a time like when I really saw, you know, what this woman was about. And I had got into child support trouble. And so basically it was like I was paying child support and everything like that. And you all know back then you can run down to the child support office and make a lie and they'll freeze your accounts and do all of this stuff to you based upon lies. And I remember this woman in there and they were telling me like, oh yeah, you owe this and this and that. And I'm just kind of like, well, y'all got my bank account froze. What do you want me to do? And when I tell you that this woman, she was like, how much is it? She told the lady, how much is it? Oh, it's $1,000. She brought her a checkbook. Boom, slammed it down. Give him a
Word.
receipt. Give us a receipt.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, I follow you to the moon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was like the first time I really experienced like, okay, this person is down for you. This person like really has your back. This person really, really loves you. And that's what people need. It's a 50-50 thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the old school argument that's still going on. Like, a man's supposed to take care of this, man's supposed to take care of that. And. So my question would be, okay, so what do you take care of? Because it's men like myself that I need more than for you just to cook and clean. I can do that. But
Right.
yeah, what else you got?
Right. Right.
Okay. What else can you do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we were taught how to cook and to clean and things like that. We were taught to get a woman because we want one, not because we need one.
Right.
It should be the same thing. You get a man because you want one, not because
Right.
you need one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And keep it that way. Keep it 50-50. Keep it a buck. And I always like to say problems come in is like if you spend a lot of your time keeping your person happy and they spend a lot of time keeping you happy, you should have no problem. The
Right.
problems come in when somebody starts, you know, taking somebody for granted. You know, it just is what it is. If you got attitude, just say, hey, I don't feel like talking right now.
There it is.
Simple.
There it is.
not giving an attitude because that's just gonna make the other person have an attitude. You know what I'm saying? But it's just little minor things that we can fix that will,
Right.
you know, set our relationships off into orbit, if you will.
Exactly.
So yeah, just my 2 cents.
Yeah. Communication is key in any relationship,
Message.
especially when it comes to those personal relationships, romantic relationships. One of the things that I cannot stand is when a woman likes to play the nothing game. Oh, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Nothing. Okay. Of course, we've been together X amount of years, whatever. I know you. I know how you are. I know when something is wrong with you and you want to tell me nothing. Tell you what, you can play the nothing game by yourself and I won't say nothing. I won't say nothing
Yep.
until you talk. And there were times back in, my married days when we would go days without saying anything. And it's just like shaking a can of soda. At some point,
is is
that
going
can
to
is gonna
explode.
be open and psh,
Yeah.
everything comes out. And usually it would be her that would say, well, I think and like, okay, there it is. Okay, now we can start addressing. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier on in this episode about how you evolve when you are with different people. So now in the relationship that I'm in, we don't argue, we discuss. There is no nothing game. There is none of this, oh, well, we'll talk about it later or whatever, whatever. If it, comes up, it's going to come out and it's nothing egregious. It's always, hey, I don't like when you said this. I feel that you um made me or you made me feel this way when you said such and such. And then we talk about it. It doesn't have to be a shouting match. And that was one of the things that I just could not stand, the shouting. Like we're two adults. There should be no reason why we're yelling and screaming about anything. We're not kids. I am not your
Yeah.
kid. So I don't expect you to be hollering at me like I am one. It's very disrespectful. Ladies,
Especially when you come from that environment. You know,
yes,
it,
yes,
me, I don't play it at all. Like if I say what's wrong, you tell me nothing, then it's nothing.
right,
I'm not talking about it later, and it's just that's it. I'm not discussing it. I'm over it at that point in time. So that's just me.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you got one time to talk to me. If you don't, then that's it. I ain't. You can hell go to hell mad if you feel like it. I'm not. Nobody has time for it. Why? You know.
right,
No, no, it's like Rashad, you just cold, but it's like, man, where we come from, it's like you just get tired of it. You know,
exactly,
you know,
exactly,
like I said, you come from the shouting and the yelling and the fighting. That's the last thing you want to do is in your household.
right.
Like in front of my children, never will.
That part,
Never will. Yeah,
and
man.
that's one of those things too. I always used to try to keep things on the low
Yeah.
whenever those intense conversations come up. But when you're dealing with somebody who already has anger management issues as it is, then it's kind of difficult
Yeah.
to have adult, calm, cool, and collected conversation with that person. You know,
I want to talk to possum.
basically, basically, And man,
Yeah, that's the inside thing, y'all. Yeah. All right, man. Yeah.
man, but yeah, you just gotta understand. At the end of the day, be with somebody who is going to love you, who's going to treat you like you want to be treated, who is going to respect you,
Yeah.
man, definitely, and woman, and who is going to see you for the person that you are. You have faults, but you're going to be with somebody who is going to see you brand new every day.
Mm,
And that right there is going to be the key to a relationship that lasts for a lifetime.
that's
Forgive
right.
often, love often. Like for me, I'm in a relationship right now to where it is beautiful. And
Here, here.
yeah, hopefully, it's something that will last and we'll definitely work on it. But just in anything, time will tell the story, and only God knows where it's going to end up. But hopefully, it will end up being on the road to forever. I have gone through a lot of things in my life as far as relationships go. And at my age now, at 46,
Mm,
I can definitely say that I'm good to go.
that's right. That's right. Well,
I think that is going to be the last word.
hey,
We about to get out of here.
yeah, no more need to be said. Yeah,
Yeah.
just like, hey, take heed, you know, look at our stories and look at the things we've been through and don't put yourself in those situations.
Exactly.
So, with that being said, episode 6 is a wrap.
In the books. Hey, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Search the Murvin Brothers. As far as social media goes, other platforms, you can also find us on Spotify and Apple Music. As far as social media, I am at Dre All Day Murvin on Facebook. I am at Dre underscore all day 24 on Instagram. And as far as Rashad,
I am at Rashad the Toy Collector on Instagram. Also, I'm at MOG Murvin, Instagram, MOG Murvin Music, Facebook, MOG Murvin, Mother Facebook.
one other thing, the Murvin Brothers on Instagram. I don't know why I always forget that. But yes.
Oh no, but we got to put that up there.
Yeah. We'll handle that in post.
That's right.
But until next time, once again, I am Dre. That is Rashad, and we will see you on
next time.
Next time on.
See? What happened was
We'll get it right.
All right, y'all be cool.
Peace.